Okay, today we're going to be talking about density and states of matter. And what we're going to do is build something called a Cartesian diver. This is something you guys can do at home. You need some sort of water bottle. A lot of times I use a 2-liter bottle for this. That works really well, but I didn't have one, so I'm using a flavored water bottle I got from my mom. You're also going to want balloons. You can use any kind of balloon. I'm using water balloons. They're a good size and I happen to have them. And then coins. You can use any type of coin so long as it will fit in the opening of your water bottle. I like to use pennies because I don't like to waste my other coins. Other thing, when I say a water bottle, it's got to be plastic. You need to be able to squeeze it. So don't use a metal one. Also, you want to be able to see, so I'd go with something clear. So what I'm going to do is create little floats that sit in the water bottle, inside in the water. But we're going to try to make them sink to the bottom. Not to start off with, when we make them sink when we want to. So I'm going to move the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing, and then we'll get started. So first thing I'm going to do is take the coins and put them inside the balloon. Careful not to pop a hole in the balloon because we are going to want some air in there as well. Now I have a clear glass for the first part of the demonstration. What you want to make sure is you do want some air in the balloon. You want it to be able to float. If you squeeze all the air out, it's going to sink straight to the bottom. Like this one, you can see this one has very little air in it, and when I put it in the glass, it goes to the bottom right away. We don't want them to go to the bottom immediately, we want that to happen later. So you want a little air in the balloon. That's going to make it less dense. The goal is that the balloon penny combo should be less dense than water, so it should float on top of the water to start with. Don't add too much air, that will make everything else harder. Usually what I do is just blow it up a little bit and then pinch it off. So we'll see. There we go. It floats, but not super high up, which will make things a little bit easier. The stronger you are, the more air you can add. I'm not very strong, so I don't add very much air. Another thing you can do is add more than 1 penny, then you can add a little more air. So on this one I'll add 2 pennies, and we'll see if I can make it sit a little bit differently in my water bottle. I'm going to go ahead and make 3. You can make as many or as few as you want. This works fine with 1. It works fine with 5. I probably wouldn't go much more than 5 because it's going to be a little bit difficult to see them all. It gets a little crowded at the top and at the bottom. I like 3 personally. So this one again, I'm going to put 2 pennies in. And if you're worried about getting your money back when you're done playing around with this, you can always pour it out, cut the bags open, and you've got your money back. So you're not actually losing money. So what I typically do first before I put them in the water bottle is I will test them in a glass of water. It's a lot easier to fish them out of the bottom of a glass than it is to get them out of the water bottle. You pretty much have to empty it and start completely over. All right, so this one's actually going to sit with 2 pennies even lower in the water. And I actually overfilled this, so I'm going to use this glass to pour a little water out. Add that second one in. Oh, and you can see that one just barely floats. And let's see, I have a yellow and I have a red. For the sake of being able to see, I'll get a really dark balloon, so we'll have 3 different colored balloons. This one I'm going to put another penny in. I think I'm just going to put 1 penny in this, and I might add a little more air so it sits a little higher up. Okay, so that one has quite a bit more air in my glass. We can see that that is going to float pretty high. It's actually probably going to be a little beyond my capabilities to make that one sink, but that's okay. We'll have that in there for an example. Never mind. That one's not going to work I can't get it into the opening. So I might have gotten a little ambitious on the water on that one. Let me grab another dark balloon and try that one more time. Ooh. Oh, that one's probably pretty similar to the yellow, but that's okay. All right, so all three are now inside my water bottle. I'm gonna cap it off. Get that cap on tight. We are gonna squeeze the bottle. We don't wanna have water shooting everywhere. And I'm gonna move everything else out. So here comes the states of matter part. We've got essentially two states of matter. In here we have water. Actually, we have all three states of matter. We have water, which is liquid. We have our pennies, which are solid. And we have our air, which is inside the balloons. And that is gaseous. So what we're going to talk about here is which one changes density when we compress them. Now, if I squeeze this, if anyone has ever actually tried to squeeze a penny, the solids, you can't really do it. It's not going to change density. The particles aren't getting any closer together. Liquid, if you've ever tried to squeeze liquid, technically it compresses, but very, very little. Most of the time it's just going to move out of the way if it can. Well, I've got it in a sealed container, so the liquid, the water, can't move out of the way anymore. So if I squeeze this, what's the only thing that can take up less space? The air. Any gas can be compressed. You see this if you've ever seen like CO2 canisters on, for example, a paintball gun. That gas is compressed. That's what allows it to shoot out. So when I squeeze this bottle, the only thing that's going to be able to take up less space is the air inside the balloons. That's going to get smaller. What is going to affect the balloons then is as that air takes up less space, the balloons, the overall system of each balloon, becomes less dense. Now our goal is to see if we can make that air take up so much less space that the balloon becomes less dense than water. Or sorry, more dense than water. When it becomes more dense than water, it will sink to the bottom. So if we look at this red balloon, that's probably our first one. It's pretty darn close to the density of water as it is. It's just barely floating there. And I'm gonna see if I can zoom in here at all so you guys can see this. But you're looking at the red one just barely floating. The yellow and the blue are laying up there on top. I'm not really sure which one's sitting higher. They're pretty close. The yellow might be sitting just slightly higher. So now what I'm going to do is back this back up, see if you can see the whole thing, and I'm going to squeeze it. So my hands are going to be in the way of part of it, but what I want you guys to do is watch for any movement and watch the bottom to see if anything makes it to the bottom. So here we go. As I squeeze, whoop, that red one went right down. But as soon as I let go, that air gets to expand, take up more space, the balloon becomes less dense, and it floats back up to the top. Let's try that again. Here we go. There went the red. If I squeeze a little harder, can I make the other two? Oh, there goes the blue. Blue went all the way down, and if I keep going, keep going, keep going, yellow's going. Yellow made it all the way to the bottom. So what that tells me is that the red is the most dense to start off with, then the blue, and then the yellow, the order they sink in. So again, this is something you guys can do at home. You need pennies or some sort of weight. BBs would work as well, pellets, ball bearings. You need balloons, and you need a 1 liter or 2 liter bottle, and you also obviously need water to fill the bottle with. A couple tips: you don't want to leave too much empty space in the bottle. You want to fill it pretty close to the top, otherwise that air will be there that compresses as well, and it takes a lot more force to make the balloon sink. The other thing, again, don't fill the balloons too full with air. If they're floating really high in the water, it's going to take a lot of force. This is something you can play with. I had students at the school I taught in when I taught in China for a little bit that we kept one of these for 2 weeks, and the boys would hold competitions to see who could keep all the balloons down at the bottom the longest. They'd time each other every passing period. All right, that's it for this demo. I will see you guys next time.